Welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen. With me today, the millionaire coach of millionaire coaches, Daniel Mangena. This is your daily dose of happy. We are so happy you decided to join us today. And Alyx Standy is particularly disappointed because her internet isn't working. She wanted to be here. Oh, man, that would have been so great to have the three of us back. But Dan Mangena is back after, what is it, like 9 months, 10 months? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a bit wild. My travel schedule's been a bit crazy, and I cut my working week down to 3 days.
Really?
So I'm normally traveling on the back end of the week. I've been traveling. I've been I'm generally not in the same place for more than about 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. But tonight you're connecting to us from Dubai, where it is currently 1 o'clock in the morning. Talk about being committed, man. Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, I did say make it, and I didn't, because everything's I didn't want to move it and then have to move it again. It's like, let's do the thing.
Which would be kind of hard anyway, because we get so booked up now that it's just almost impossible to move things. So that's a good thing.
I'm definitely in a decent time zone for the next one. So.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah. And Alyx, I know, is going to want to be here for that as well. But this is actually good in that, I mean, we haven't seen you in so long, and you've been world traveling. You've been doing all kinds of stuff. We need this major update. What's Dan Mangena been doing for the last 10 months or whatever it is?
Well, we finished filming the documentary, which was really exciting. We're doing the musical score for that right now. But the final cut, I think the team have done. Signed the distribution deal, so that's going to be on Amazon. Really excited about that.
Tell us more about that. Before we even get any further, because people may not have even remembered that you were doing this documentary.
Yeah, so obviously we were planning this for quite a while. We had a lot of challenges getting the right people to speak to. We had a lot of doors closed in our faces. We're reaching out to different people, and then thankfully, the professor who was helping me put together my proposal for my PhD. He's a tenured neuroscientist, and he agreed first and foremost. So he was our first one. Dr. J was our first, and then he put us onto some amazing people. And we found that, the three scientists that we ended up using, they were really balanced because none of them are woo-woo. They're not out there. They don't believe in the law of attraction specifically. Right. They're hard data scientists, and so we've got Dr. J, who's a tenured neuroscientist. We've got Dr. Senga, who's a medical neurobiochemist or something like that.
Okay.
And we've got Dr. Keith, who's one of the scientists who worked on the MRI machine, actually inventing and building the MRI machine.
Oh, really?
So
wow.
Yeah. So we've got real scientists, and we're really taking a data-driven, hard, real textbook science look at what is this manifesting thing? What does it really mean? Is there any science to back some of the commonly held ideas and concepts around manifestation? Which of them are real, which of them are not? And which of them can we integrate into our lives? And that's what we've done with the film.
Wow. Can you clue us in on what any of the conclusions are, or is that giving away too much?
You'll have to watch the documentary. It's not long. I think the final cut's about 40-something minutes. It's not long.
Yeah. What's the name of it?
Manifestnation. So you can go to manifestnationfilm.com and sign up. There's a trailer on there now, but you can sign up and get notified as to when it's going to be out.
Oh, cool. So we can go see the trailer. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, congratulations. I mean, that's a big project all by itself.
That's been good fun, and looking forward to really focusing on that and moving on to getting that out, promoted, shared, and then looking at the next film projects. That's going to probably be a major thing that I'm doing this year.
Another one.
Oh yeah, that's what I want to do. So I've got quite a few ideas.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, so that's what I want to be doing. So because the thing is, it takes a long time, especially when you've got people and you've got to wait for their schedule.
Right.
So we're discussing filming multiple at the same time, going and getting footage and putting them together at the same time. And then as they're ready, then we schedule them to release. So we'll probably release a couple a year or something.
So a lot of overlap between the different documentaries are basically being tied together through similar but not the same concepts.
Not even that. It's that, let's say for example that you were going to be in one of them, right? I've got to tie up my schedule and your schedule, our team schedule, to be able to get the crew over there to come and meet with you.
I see. Okay.
That might not be for 10 months.
Right.
And in the meantime, there could be other ones. So it's just as we're going along, we're collecting the footage. And then, we're going to be here. can I get across to that person? Can I get across to that person? Can that person get across to us? Blah, blah, blah. And just gathering the footage up and then, putting that together. And then the process of editing and cutting and grading and all of that stuff takes some time as well.
Yeah. Pretty exciting though. You become the film producer.
Yeah. So I invested in a studio last year called Abundant Studios. I love the name. One of my mentors in it, like 22 Emmy Awards.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've jumped in on him. So I've got some producer credits. I've got an executive producer credit. Obviously, getting to be a bit behind the scenes and seeing, how that caliber of documentary film is made, and bringing that experience over.
Yeah, pretty exciting. All right, so there's one thing you've been working on. Give us some more cues. What else have you been doing?
Yeah, signed a deal with Simon Schuster's imprint to re-release my book Stepping Beyond Intention last spring. We finished everything on that now. The final stages on getting ready to release that. So I'm going to be big, going big with re-releasing that book.
Do you have a planned date for that re-release?
Waiting to hear from the publishers on that, but it should be this first half of the year, maybe second quarter. I think we should see that.
Okay, good.
Coming out. So excited about that. Be good to, just have a real publisher, because obviously I've always self-published. So having a real publisher, being on a real publisher's website. So yeah, that's really exciting. Really exciting.
What are the differences between self-publishing and working with a big publisher like Simon & Schuster?
It's really annoying because you have to wait for them for everything. It's like what I do. Like I remember my first book, it was done and dusted in 30 days and out, done.
Right.
It's like I had the idea, I wrote it, edited it, got the covers designed, got it done, put it out, boom, it was in 30 days. The book already existed and it's taken nearly a year just to get it back out again. It was already written,
Right.
So, but they gutted it and, tidied it up and did some wiggling around, and we had to go through the whole thing of choosing the new cover and all that kind of stuff. And
so it's a second edition, but it's a pretty major
it's actually a third edition, because
third edition.
Yeah. So I actually did the second edition myself with a new cover.
Oh, okay.
We had another cleanup. We did that I think 2 years ago now.
Oh, okay.
Put a new cover on it and whatnot. And then I had the option to do a completely new book for this deal, which probably would have taken us another year on top.
Right.
Way. But I was like, I haven't really done enough with this book. It hadn't even done 10,000 copies yet. So it didn't really make much sense doing that. I think Money Game, we've done 10,000 copies of Money Game, I think.
Okay.
We've done a lot of Money Game copies, but for the most part, we've kept Money Game available through the website for $1.
Right.
And so it's been easier to move that one, to move more units on that one. But this isn't one we've really ever done at a low rate. It's always been sort of it's easier for someone to take a punt on me for $1 than it is for 20.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, I just said, I want to see where I can take this book before I think about the next one.
Right.
And then, and also once we've seen what this book can do in terms of getting some numbers behind it, then we'll see maybe if there's because this was just so this was a hybrid deal that I did with this one. So the difference between a hybrid deal and say a traditional publishing deal is, number one, I get 85% of the revenue instead of 15% of the revenue. But then I have to do a bit more work basically, and I contribute to the marketing costs and stuff like that. But they've got an amazing network. They're tied into like thousands of libraries, and they can put my book in airports and all that kind of stuff. And so looking forward to seeing that happen. And then I don't know, see, it was just a one book deal. I'm not obligated to do another book with them, but we'll see. Maybe this will get some attention of someone else, and we'll see. We'll basically see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I mean, anytime that you're putting yourself out in a big way like this, because that's what this is. This is a big launch compared to what you would do with your own self-publishing thing.
Yeah.
That's going to be big. No matter what comes out of it, it's going to be big. It's going to be a bigger result of one kind or another. Yeah.
And also it qualifies for other lists. This means I'm I'm touching as much wood as I can, but I qualify then for like a New York Times list or an editorial list because of an actual publisher versus it being self-published. So we'll see what happens in terms of getting.
Now I'm curious with somebody like a Simon and Schuster. Obviously, when you self-publish, that's a completely different deal. When you're being considered, first of all, being considered by a Simon and Schuster is a big deal all by itself, and then you actually cut a deal. What was your sense about what they were liking about you that made them decide, yes, we're going to flip the switch on this one?
Well, the good thing is because we went through an imprint, which is like a sub publisher underneath Simon and Schuster's, so it's a bit easier. And this is one of the things, anyone who's aspiring to go for a deal, like a publishing deal, first and foremost, like unless you've got a specific reason to, don't bother. If you just want to get a book out, because you're going to be doing all the legwork anyway for the most part. Just because you're with a publisher doesn't mean that automatically you're going to sell loads of books. They're still going to be pimping you out to go and do all of the promo. So, we've already started to marshal my marketing machine, reaching out to some of the podcasts I've been on. I've been on hundreds of podcasts, so reaching out to those guys saying, hey, would love to come back, blogs that I've been on and all that kind of sort of thing. So it was really, it's not really that big a deal for them because they're not really investing as much in, because I'm contributing to the cost because it's a hybrid deal. So it's like the risk gets split. So I've got a big enough audience, got a solid podcast, got a bit of street cred, so to speak, and then I'm kicking on the cost anyway, so it wasn't really that big a deal. So it was it's still not a walk off the street kind of situation, but it was definitely an easier thing to do than say walking up to, I know, Penguin and saying, hey, give me my $250,000 check. Like there was no advance. I didn't get an advance check or anything like that, So,
right.
Yeah.
Very interesting, though. Okay. So we got the documentary, we got the book being re-released. What else is going on?
That's really it at the moment. I've been really busy because there's other entrepreneurial activity that's been sort of taking a bit more of my attention. It's one of the reasons why I'm traveling around a lot at the moment. It's not really been this work that's been the primary focus of my time. So just sort of getting clear on what I want to do with this work kind of stuff, what I want to do with that, kept with the podcast, sticking with the films. We've got the book coming out, but we'll see. I'm not really sure what's going to go in that. We got my last Alchemy of Abundance event in April.
Oh, okay.
I've got a retreat that we sold out for the first week in June. That's going to be the last retreat for this year. I'm not going to be doing any more in-person events this year.
Wow, okay.
I'm definitely not going to be doing Alchemy of Abundance as is, but we'll see what 2024, 2025 looks like. And I just want to solidify, to play catch up, because there was so much movement that happened in a really short period of time. I didn't really get the opportunity to breathe and sort of soak it all in and catch up with myself, which is what I'm really doing at the moment. It's taking a beat, playing catch up, letting things sort of settle, and then seeing where we're going to go next, in terms of what opportunities are there, what's resonating, not just with the people that I get to serve, but also with me. Like, what do I want to do? What am I enjoying? I may really not enjoy doing the whole major book thing and doing the book tour thing. I might not enjoy it, so I might not do it. I may fall out of love with the filmmaking process after getting this one promoted. I don't really know. And so I'm not making any commitments beyond those few steps.
But what you are doing is entrepreneurially playing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I've never had a job really. I had a job in a call center for 6 months in my 20s, and I worked in a cinema for like a summer and like a couple of school breaks in my teens. That's it. I've never... So all I know is really entrepreneurship, going out there and doing it for myself. And so,
but I mean, my point is, it sounds more like play than it does like work now.
Oh yeah, but I don't really do anything that too worky anyway. Like, if you're going to design your own job, why are you going to design a job you don't want? That doesn't really make much sense.
This is true. This is very true. Yeah, but there aren't that many people who can say they've actually achieved it, who've actually gotten there, and that's what's so cool about it, because you've gotten there.
Yeah, but again, I give credit to the fact that I've had quite a long run up.
Sure.
I think my first business, I was laughing with Olga about this. when was I laughing with Olga about it? Because Olga's daughter Ariana is 7, and I already had my first
Wow.
business by the time I was Ariana's age. I was already like, I'd already started my entrepreneurial journey by that age, and so it's funny when I see Ariana, this little human, I'm like, oh my gosh, I was already making bank at your age. That's really weird. And so yeah, I've had a lot of years. So I don't doubt, and I completely understand why for a lot of people it doesn't really come together, because it's not a straightforward, easy path. It
Mm.
can be. I mean, you're business owner. You know what it's like having to
Oh yeah.
juggle things, and you've got to make this happen, and then that comes up and that happens, and you're firefighting, you're solving problems every day. It's not for everyone.
It's not, no, and it is a challenge. It also can be, it can be exciting, it can be terrifying, and it can be anywhere in between, really.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm also curious though, because you have been doing so much travel,
Hmm.
and I asked myself, I mean, I remember when you were telling me last year that you're going to be doing a lot of travel over this past year, which you've been doing. I asked myself, is that something I would want to do?
Mm.
And I didn't really know what the answer was, but now that you've been through it, what do you say coming out on the other
I love
side?
it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love being on a plane. Like, I'm excited about my next plane trip.
That's cool.
Yeah. But you know, all of the places that I get to go to are places that I like to go to for the most
Mm.
part. You know, I
Hmm.
don't like here. I've been coming here since 2003,
Hmm.
something like that. 2003, 2004. So for 19, 20 years, I've been coming out here.
Yeah.
So I know the lay of the land. I've been out here since before the Palm Island thingy existed. I saw them making it, spitting the sand out and making it all those years ago. So you know, it's a joy for me to come and hang and do the thing.
Is it a challenge from the perspective of your family life?
Well, I mean, it's actually good because since the separation, having the breathing space is actually really good. But one of the
Mm.
things I've done, I've worked into the schedule, having dedicated time that I am located in the same space as the family. Um,
Okay.
so that actually works out better.
That's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds to me like you're actually you've been actually spending the last year not so much doing a lot of creating, although there has been quite a bit of creating going on. It's more like consolidating what you've been doing for a number of years.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of things have come together. I mean, I just got welcomed to the ranks of the Transformational Leadership Council a few weeks ago.
Tell us about
Uh,
that.
um, the film The Secret was filmed at a Transformational Leadership Council meeting. So 90% of the people in The Secret, I would say 70% are from the Transformational Leadership Council. Jack
Oh,
Canfield put together that council in 2005. And since then, he gathers thought leaders and leaders. And they meet a couple of times a year. They network, they uplift. And I went to the first event my first event as a guest in January, and then I was invited to join. So it's really been quite an honor because like all my heroes, basically.
yeah.
So that's been something that you know, when I was reading The Secret, watching the film, however many years ago, I wasn't expecting that I'd be hanging out with those people, having breakfast with them, and then asked to be one of them. You know, so that was really cool. So there's that. Obviously, having the film out, the podcast continues to do well. We'll see what happens with the book and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's been a ride. It's definitely been a ride.
One thing I've always been curious about, and we've actually had a couple of people from The Secret on in the last couple of years, so I've had a little
Mhm.
bit of a dabble in that now. But I've wondered what it was like to actually interact with people who are well known to the world, at
Mhm.
least to those in the world who have been aware of the movie The Secret. And
Mhm.
and my suspicion is that it's like anybody else. That you find that they're humans with strengths and weaknesses and
Honestly,
quirks and all
well,
kinds of stuff.
TLC is perhaps the loveliest group of humans I've ever had the pleasure to hang out with.
Really
Yeah, they're just amazing. Like I was uplifted, rejuvenated. I was on an energy vibe. I was on a vibe high the entire time.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Any stories you can tell?
No.
No. I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you. I get it.
And then I would be killed as well. Are just amazing people. I'm just really grateful to Jack and to Patty and the gang to bring together those awesome humans. I'm just really grateful, really humbled, really honored.
If you could point to one thing that had the biggest impact on you through those associations you built, what would it be?
Anyone who doesn't feel that they get some kind of weird imposter syndrome or something like that at some point in the journey is full of it. Everybody does. But when you've got like the biggest leaders in personal development sitting and giving you genuine feedback on the work that you're putting out in the world, pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah. And you pay close attention, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's not just that's not like your average Joe saying, "Well, here's what I think about your latest book" or something like. No, this is the cream of the crop saying, "You might want to think about this."
Yeah, and I really like this. Well done. You're doing really good with that. I'm loving your podcast.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you're a podcast, you get a little bit of an idea of who's listening, but for the most part, you don't know.
No, you don't know. You just see the downloads happen.
That's it. That's about it.
You don't even know if they listen to it. It's downloaded.
That's it. Yeah.
Let's be honest. There are a few podcasts I've downloaded that haven't been listened to yet.
I hear you.
But we're grateful.
I hear you entirely. Yeah. So overall, then this has been a pretty cool year for Dan Mangena.
Yeah, very cool. Lots of shifts, changes. Ethan's getting a lot bigger now, so that's really weird.
How old is he now?
He's 2.
He's 2. Yeah.
Yeah, he's 2. He's communicating and
he's active,
running around and making sure you know what he wants and doesn't want. So yeah, it's funny. It's good.
What's it like from your perspective to see your child or your children, actually, with the 2 of them, growing up with the influences that are a big part of your life? I mean, you've learned stuff, you actually teach stuff that is outside the norm. It's not outside what most of society is even familiar with. It's very advanced. It's an advanced form of living and learning. And you're seeing these kids of yours growing up in that atmosphere. What do you think about? When you see them, when you see the way that they respond, the way they interact and so forth, what do you think about?
I'm really grateful that Olga's so committed to her spiritual practice and her spiritual work, because that means that they've always got that anchor as well. It's not like a fleeting thing and out. There's a consistent energy that they get to access from their mum. So I'm really grateful for that. But I think one of the things that comes up for me personally, as you say that, is doing my best, and I do my best to stay on top of this, to not allow my journey to become too big influence on their journey. Because I have done a lot. I've been doing this for 20 years, and I've had taken a lot of hits, taken a lot of bumps. And so there can be a desire at times to want to ensure that they don't have to go through any of those bumps, but it's their journey.
Yeah.
And so, you get where I'm coming from. It's making sure that that they still get to have their journey, regardless of what I have to contribute to it. Allowing that to be a resource for them and not like the thing that's telling them how things have to go.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's obviously very insightful, because it would be very easy for you, if you really, really wanted to kind of impose your lifestyle on them in a sense.
Yeah. And it's not like it's not like I'm imposing drugs on them. It'd be, you're going to meditate. You're going to be this. You're going to be positive. Have you listened to LOA today? Have you done it? Go to your room and go and be positive.
Yeah, I can't quite imagine that one, to be honest.
Yeah. But staying away from that.
But even so, what you're also recognizing and demonstrating is that you could kind of mess up the journey, and you understand the importance of
I could
people
rob them of
making their
their
own
journey.
mistakes.
I would say I could rob them of their journey.
Okay, there's a
And,
good way of saying it. Yeah.
yeah, and a big part of the power of an empowered journey is actually having the journey,
Yeah.
having the quote unquote mistakes, having the things that happen, going through those things. So
Hmm.
yeah, do my best to not rob them of that.
If you were to evaluate yourself, how are you doing?
Well, I let them get on with it, so
Okay.
hopefully not too badly. Hopefully not too badly. I do let them get on with it.
Also, since Olga is on her own spiritual journey as well,
Hmm.
I'm wondering, does she mirror that approach? I mean, how does she approach the whole thing?
I don't really check in on how she does it,
Oh, okay.
because that's her journey.
Yeah.
So her journey as a mum is her journey as well. Otherwise, it's just the same with me trying to impose how I'm choosing to
Mhm.
experience my relationship to them with how she's going to have hers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, different couples, different groups of people have different ways of interacting. I know in my own case, I'd be kind of curious. I'd want to find out just because I was curious, not because I wanted to influence something, but that's not going to be
Hmm.
true for everybody. So that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll just let them get on with it.
Yeah.
It's their dance.
So, all right, now we got an kind of a lay of what's happened over the last year and what's going on kind of generically within the Mangena household. What's coming up this coming year? I mean, the documentary is going to be coming out,
I don't really know besides those current projects.
but you
I don't
got,
know.
I mean, you have intentions.
My intention is to get these things done and then see what opportunities sit on the other side of it. It's one of the reasons why April's going to be the last Alchemy of Abundance. Not planning any of that. We're not doing any more retreats or any other events. We're not even planning any virtual events or anything like that. Nothing. Just letting these things play out, throwing ourselves fully into those, giving space. That may be the thing that ends up taking up the rest of the year. So my big thing is not giving myself too much, give myself lots of space.
Essentially giving yourself the opportunity to decide based on what happens, what you want
Yes.
next.
Yeah. Yeah. So last year was the first year I took off 2 months instead of just my December, although I didn't end up actually having my December off, which was hilarious. So July and December off. I've got like a family trip. I'm attending an event as an attendee. I'm going to the next TLC meeting in July. So that's my July wrapped up. And then, as the listeners remember, December is completely birthdayed out.
Right.
For me, everybody's birthday is December. Both kids, Olga, my brother, his wife, his son, mine, all in December. So I've got those planned. I'm going to Necker Island in 2 weeks, and then I'm going to be going again in September. So that's that. I know that I really would like to go back to Greece again at the end of the season next year, September. So that's kind of, those are things I know are happening. Definitely going back to Necker in September. Really 90% sure would like to go to Greece. Taking off July and having some fun. August is up in the air. I don't know what's happening. October, I don't have anything set right now. November, there's a trip that I'm going to be going on, but that's about it. And then December, I'm chilling. So that's as much planning as I've got. And the rest of it's going to get filled in.
And I know what you mean by Necker Island, but many people don't. Tell people again what that's all about. And we talked about this a couple of years ago, but that doesn't mean the memories.
Yeah. One of our entrepreneurial heroes, Sir Richard Branson, he's got an island in the Caribbean called Necker Island, and I'm part of a mastermind that goes there every year. But then I'm going back independently on a trip there in September.
Nice. Yeah. I know there's no way to really compare them, but I'm going to ask you to compare anyway. You got the transformational leadership, you got what goes on in Necker Island. How do you compare the people there?
Yeah, they're different groups, different things. Necker, it's all entrepreneurs. When I go with Mavericks, and Mavericks is a group of impact-driven entrepreneurs run by Sophia Omansky and Maverick Yannick Silva. They're really cool people. They go with some really cool entrepreneurs, and obviously Sir Richard's a hoot. So, that's one kind of event. And then the Transformation Leadership Council is a completely different type of event. So they're apples and oranges, but both amazing experiences.
Not really comparable. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do remember a social media post of you playing chess with Sir Richard. Who won?
At the moment, it's 2-1 to me. But I'm pretty sure he's hired somebody. No, so basically what had happened was I was playing with a really cool guy called Jayesh. We were just playing, and so Richard's got chessboards set up all over the island with these amazing views. Like, you've got these amazing vistas looking out onto the ocean. And me and Jash are just playing, and neither of us noticed Sir Richard had come up behind us. Was like, "I'll play the winner," and we were like, because it was like the first day on the island.
Oh, okay.
It was my first time there, so I didn't know the way it worked. And the way it works is, for the Mavericks trip, Sir Richard arranges his diary to be there.
Oh, okay.
So we have breakfast with him, we have lunch with him. He's just hanging out. You can go play tennis with him, and blah, 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 blah. He's just hanging out. And so he's just walking around the house, like,
yep.
But there's Richard Branson. Like, he just. And at the time, I've been looking up to him for 30 years. He's been like an entrepreneurial hero for me. So it was really wild. So anyway, later that night, we had, was it that night? No, it was the next day. The next day we had a party. We're all in flamingo outfits. That's why I'm flamingo onesies. That's why I'm in pink in the picture for anyone who sees it on my Instagram. So we're sitting down, talking, and he comes in and he goes, "Oh, hey, you come on, let's play the game." We'd had a chat earlier. We went for a hike earlier that day, and he and I had some time together. And we had the game, and I won the game. And he got up and left the party when I won the game. And a couple of people like, you beat Richard. Yeah. He's very competitive. You probably shouldn't have done that. Yeah. Like, he didn't come back to the party. He was really pissed because there was loads of us watching the thing, and people were taking pictures and taking videos and blah, blah, blah. And so we had another game. No. The next day, we had an event, we had a thing in the evening, and he's on the microphone, and he goes, "What's this guy still doing here? Have you not kicked him off yet?" And he like kept making all these references to it. I got really uncomfortable. Then we had a second game, and he won the second game, and I was like, "Cool, right." And I spent the rest of the week running away from him. So I was hiding. Because he's like, "No, we have to finish the match." I was like, yeah. And I was like running, and people were like messaging me, "Richard's looking for you." He said, "Can you meet him at the?" Because he's got the different boards all over the island, and he kept calling me. I was being summoned to these different chess areas, and I was like ignoring the WhatsApps. I'd see him at dinner. "Oh yeah, of course, oh, yeah, definitely." I just had a few things to drink, whatever. And then he was supposed to go to Mallorca on the Friday, and so like Friday afternoon, I like came up for air, thinking it was safe. Sitting down, he's supposed to leave that morning. He came, he tapped me on the shoulder. He says, "Come on, we've got a match to finish." Fudge. Anyway, I could see I was going to win the last game. So I said, "So Richard, why don't we make it the best of 5? I'm coming back again. We'll finish it up next time." And so I finished up that game. And that's why I asked for a picture for my mum. And that's when he took the picture of him strangling me. I took a selfie, and he starts strangling me. So yeah, that's the picture that I've got of me and Richard. And the backstory to it. But he's immediately afterwards, like the weeks after. So I think I was there in April. If you look on his Instagram in the weeks after, he's always got a chessboard in front of him. Mm. He's got like world-class windsurfing coaches on the island. He's got world-class tennis coaches on. He just has them come and live on the island and just work with him every day. Yeah. And he's a multi-billionaire, multi-billionaire. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got like, I don't know, Magnus Carlsen or someone like that, just like in his house, just giving him lessons.
Right. Yeah, it'd be something to be coached by like Gary Kasparov or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him. But I think that appetite to win has definitely been a contributor to his success as well.
Yeah. And not just the appetite to win, but the determination to go at it again when he lost.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a fascinating, amazing human to watch in action. To hear the things he loves to talk about, the things that he cares about, the things that interest him, the things that light him up. It's no wonder the amount of you see like him on TV or whatever. He is that person. This is just a genuine reflection of who he is. He loves to have fun, loves to create value, really, really cares about human, really, really cares about impact, and cares about making the world a better place. Yeah.
Very interesting. Now, you also mentioned a few times in describing your itinerary, you mentioned Greece a few times. Tell people why Greece is so important.
It's not so important. I went there to speak back end of September. I went there to speak beginning of September. I went there to speak. Last year, I went to Athens. I then went to go meet some friends on an island called Spetses, which was amazing. Loved it. I was speaking on Santorini, and then I went and checked out Mykonos afterwards. I was there for about a week. Mykonos, just relaxing. And it was lovely, magical place. Really, really magical place. Made some really cool friends, and yeah, looking forward to going back. So I want to check out some of the other islands.
Okay.
Maybe do a little island hop for a week and check out a couple of different islands. Get out.
Look who made it, Alyx.
Get
Sandy.
out. Get out.
I forgot about my phone. Duh. My Wi-Fi's down, but it's okay. I'm using the Xfinity Wi-Fi and I'm on my phone. I'm here.
Boom.
Gotcha.
Hey.
As long as the battery's good. I love it.
Yes, I am plugged in. I'm good to go.
You're good. All right.
Amazing.
Well,
but yeah, that was it.
We've been getting Dan's history over the last 10 months or so since we last saw him.
Damn, it's been that long?
It's been a while.
It has. It has.
Yeah. I'm not sure exactly how long, but quite a while. More than a few months. Let's put it that way.
A little bit.
He was just giving us a little story about how challenging it is when he defeats Sir Richard Branson at chess.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's got to be a big ego boost.
Well, the way he was telling it, it's more like
big boost. I'm waiting for the hitmen to come through the window.
He said, "Not on my island."
Yeah, he did actually. Literally said that. Literally. But yeah, we'll be picking that up when I'm there in a couple of weeks. We'll see.
But what you were describing about Greece, I mean, it isn't so much apparently any particular thing that goes on there. It's just that you've had a lot of great experiences there.
Yeah, it was just lovely. I mean, I didn't like Spetses. I don't feel the desire to go back to, but it was a lovely experience to go there. And I feel that there's probably going to be a lot of islands I'm going to have that experience of like, oh, it was nice to be there for a day or two, or whatever, and keep it moving. But I definitely want to do a good few days in Mykonos again. There's I've got like a couple of spots that I like to eat at and go and shake a leg in and whatever. So I definitely want to go and do that. Santorini, I don't feel called to go back to Santorini. It's fine. Did it. Very happy. Lovely. Got the pictures. White walls and little blue lines, great. Fabulous. Instagram. But I want to check out some more of the islands.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. And Alyx has been dealing with, I don't know if you're aware of what's been going on with Alyx, Daniel. She's been going through all kinds of real rough crap the last year. I mean, really rough.
But I'm on the other side of it now.
You are? Yeah.
I am. I'm feeling much better. Off the pain medication. Everything's looking up.
Pain medication type
situation. Yeah. I had to have, they cut my whole flank, man. Like, I was like a side of beef. It was crazy. Yep. Rooted at Tuda. Oh, yep. They had, my lung kept filling with blood, so they had to, they were draining it every week, and every time they drained it, they poked another hole in the lung. So they had to clear all that out. It was creating like little tiny honeycombs in my lung. And then I had to have my last ovary removed at the same time. So it was like, it was a long surgery. I think I was in surgery for like 9 hours, and then in the hospital for a week, and then on bed rest till today.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Quite the trooper, aren't you, Mrs. Stande?
I have to be, because it's either do it or die. So those are my only options.
Yeah.
You know,
that sounds like quite the applicable opportunity to become the trooper.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Well, good to see you on your legs.
Thank you. Good to be on them.
And de-honeycombed.
De-honeycombed, yeah. I mean, I haven't seen her much either, to be honest. I mean, she hasn't been on lately just because she's been dealing with all this stuff.
Yeah.
Quite understandable.
So there's days where I think I'm okay, and then it's like 3 o'clock creeps around, and I'm like, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, but I don't think anesthesia's quite aligned with doing a podcast.
No, it's definitely not. Definitely not.
And lung comb removal.
Comb.
And StreamYard. I'm not sure that they're quite compatible.
But you know me, I'm still going to try.
I salute you for that.
I was telling Walt, I was like, if I didn't have a roommate in the hospital, I would have been here. But I didn't want to help her. She's over here healing from cancer. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. So.
Yeah. You thought my 1 a.m. podcast was dedication. That's dedication there.
It is.
That's dedication.
I'm surrounded by very dedicated people.
I'm loyal to a fault.
Yes. But thank you for not and just being dedicated to your health.
A lot of people yelled at me, so I had to sit down.
Thank you, yellers. We
Thank you, yes.
Penny was like, listen, I know how you are, but like, stop trying to do it all yourself and sit down. And then I physically just couldn't. I just couldn't get up and do it. So I was like, all right, I'll sit down.
Good.
Well, yeah, that's the one thing that's better than getting that advice. It's following it.
Yeah, it was hard because I'm very like, oh, I'll just do it. Oh, no, you're not doing it right. I'll just do it. And then I couldn't. So I had to get over it.
Essentially, you realize there are limits to how far you can go.
Literally. And it wasn't far.
and they were hard limits too. They weren't
hard
like
limits.
Theoretical limits. They were, real physical limits.
Yeah. Like I just took my first by myself shower the other day. I was very proud of myself.
Wow. Yeah. But I like the way you said that you're on the other side of it. That's the first time I've heard you use those words in a long time.
This is the first time I felt it in a long time. Yeah. I literally woke up the other day and I was like, I'm in a good mood and I'm not in pain. I feel great today.
Ooh.
So I just started journaling about how grateful I am that I'm not in pain anymore and I'm over it and blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, that gratitude journaling is powerful stuff too.
Really is. Really is.
I mean, when you were doing it, were you finding yourself? I'm not a big journaler. You know this. You know this about me.
I'm
not big into journaling. I tend to journal when I'm in pain more than anything else. But I do find that when I'm doing the journaling and I'm doing it successfully on something like the gratitude, something I'm feeling really good about, it accelerates things. I mean,
it does.
Momentum just kind of takes off. You got that? You get that same experience?
I did. I felt like I was getting better faster as I was becoming more grateful and aware of how grateful I was.
And we're talking like, minutes and hours, not days.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
It's nice to see.
It is. It's wonderful to see. It's wonderful to see you. Perfect. Just
but
period.
Like, we talk about this all the time, but to like experience it yourself in real time, it's eye opening.
It reinforces, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
Yeah. Like when you go through an experience like this, it's almost that this is the kind of thing that leads people to want to write books and become coaches or things like that. Because they're saying, oh, I get this now.
Yeah. I've been posting about it, and a lot of people are like, the book you're going to write is going to be, I'm going to read the shit out of it. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to write a book. I'm probably just going to
It might make it into a stand-up routine.
It might, at the very least, it'll be out there somewhere.
Yeah.
But I have been posting about it, getting the awareness out there for this disease and doing a lot of good stuff.
Have you been getting fellow travelers on the same kind of route reaching out to you?
A lot of the people I get are from other countries and don't have the good health care. So like this one lady broke my heart. She's like, I'm already in hospice. I give up. There's nothing I can do.
What country?
I was like, you're 27. Why are you in hospice? She's like, because where I'm at, there's nothing I can do, and I can't afford to come to America.
What country was she in?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It's really funny not funny to me, haha, but like strange to me that we humans commoditize keeping people alive.
Yeah. And women's healthcare is at the bottom of the list.
Like I've seen a couple of these shows. What was I watching? I can't remember what I was watching. And it's like, yeah, oh no, sorry. I've got to take care of my shareholders. I can't give you that medicine. But it's gonna like save lives.
Right.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. I think some things should be left out of the profit. But the thing is that the profit motive does lead to people creating cures for different diseases and different innovative ways of doing things. But then the profit motive also means that the pricing of it is going to mean that not everybody gets it.
Yeah. Catch-22.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Do you think of a solution?
Oh, me? I don't have a solution. I wouldn't even know where to start.
No.
Unless, because I can't even say like Canada has free healthcare, but like I follow this TikToker whose husband had a brain injury and she had to send him to America to get care because even though the healthcare is free in Canada, it sucks. So it's like you get what you pay for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I've always used private healthcare for as long as I can remember. As soon as I've been making my own money my entire life. I don't think I've ever healed. I mean, there's been a couple of times I've had to go to an emergency room or whatever.
Yeah.
But I've never leaned on public health care. I've always had some kind of private healthcare plan, or been in a country where you've got no choice. You don't live here, so you have to pay for it anyway. So, but
It's a challenging problem for sure, and a lot of people have been trying to figure out how to resolve it. So I guess when I asked the question, any ideas on how to fix it, I knew what the answer was. But hey, you never know. You throw it out there, maybe you get something back.
I mean,
somebody might have a solution.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to bring something into free market, then it has to. But I personally, and this is controversial, I think the issue is that as a global economy, we're trying to walk the line between pseudo-communism, stroke welfare state, stroke managed economy, and then free markets. It's like, which one are you gonna? In one economy, you're gonna have some pockets. Oh, we're gonna regulate the hell out of it, and we're gonna legislate it, and we're gonna tax it, and we're gonna do all the things. But then you want it to have the efficiencies of a free market.
Right.
It's like if we had a purely free market, then people would get the market would decide what the value is. But when the reason why we've got like the plutocracy that we've got in the US, for example, like a small group of people are making the rules, when actually there's more people. And if all of the people were allowed to make the rules in a purely free market, you wouldn't have the plutocrats. You wouldn't have a small group of people with all of the power because there's more people. And so they will be deciding. And if the masses are deciding, then guess what? The stockbrokers and the people who aren't really adding value aren't the ones that are going to get paid more. You would have better pay for people who are actually adding value, because society would say, well, teachers are important because they're the future of our children. So we're not going to leave them at the bottom of the pile. We need healthcare. It's in everybody's interest for us to have healthcare available for everyone at reasonable prices. I don't think you would have free healthcare in a free market, but it would probably be better reflective of equality, and people will probably have sufficient wages to be able to afford it, or there'll be free market solutions to create the gap, like insurance and so on and so forth. But it would operate in a free market rather than being controlled. Anyway, that's my extreme perspective.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. And of course, it also begs the obvious question, because it always will, and there's no way to get around this. How do you get there? And that's what's, I think that's some people for years.
I watched. I mean, you were a libertarian in your former life. So you know what, you know the tree I'm barking up. But I mean,
that's why I know that the question I was asking was ridiculous.
America isn't a democracy. It was a republic. Like,
Right.
and people like, we throw these words out and not even really knowing what they really mean. You know, like there are these specific forms of government have different ways that they operate. It's a republic. And yet it's sort of been hijacked into an apparent democracy, but actually it moved from a republic over into a plutocracy. And that's why you've got a small group of people who have all of the power, which happened in Rome. It just took Rome a lot longer to get there than it did America. And America was modeled on Rome. So it's not a surprise that the same insidious outcome has ended up happening there.
It's really a very astute observation that it turns into a plutocracy, because really, if I wanted to label what we have is a democratic republic. It's not a republic. It's not a democracy. It is a blur of the two. And when you blur the two together, what do you end up with? You end up with a plutocracy. That's just the way it works.
Exactly what you end up with. I mean, it's funny for me, like coming from the UK, because like they're not even fronting. It's like, we're royalty. You're giving us money, even though we don't actually do the same things that we used to do. But just give us money, we'll wave.
Give us money, we'll wave.
we're gonna then give some land and some titles to a few people, the House of Lords, and they're going to decide which rules you're going to be able to live by, and then we'll give you your members of parliament, but you need money for that, so they're going to get their money from us. So you common folks, good luck. And that's basically what happens. But there's it's like, anyway, it's no wonder you get the eat the rich movement and so on and so forth. Yeah.
I know that from my own journey, as I moved away, first, it took me a while to move away from that whole libertarian belief system. And what finally, I don't know, convinced me, it's sort of it. I was actually convinced before I made the move. But what I guess what made it all real for me, maybe that's the best way to say it, is the recognition that there are no political solutions. Sting had it right. There is no political solution. It doesn't exist.
Right.
Politics is the problem, not the solution. We keep looking back to the problem for the solution.
Yeah. So if it's not a political solution, then what kind of solution is it?
It's a humanity solution.
I was just going to say, it's the people.
Like, if instead of looking to a small group of people to tell us what to do, we simply said, hang on a minute, what's going to be in the best interest of my family, my community, my country, my people, my race, as in human race. I'm not trying to say we go to the illusion of individual races. Thank you. If we did that, I think we'd probably do a lot better than trying to argue over which nonsensical political. It's like in England, the Conservatives and the Labour Party. There used to be a difference. There used to be a difference. And then Tony Blair came in with New Labour, aka red-coloured Conservatives that are a little bit more moderate. That was the end of it. That was the end of it. And for the US, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get too political about the US, but like, you know,
I'm not sure it's impossible that it's possible to not be too political about the U.S. To be perfectly honest,
like,
I mean, it's such a heavily politicized country.
But it's just like Republicans and Democrats. I still don't understand why anyone thinks that either one of them actually care about you. It's like they're exactly the same people. Just the only difference is that one pretends to like you and the other one doesn't give a flying flugel.
Right?
It's like, I remember seeing like a post. The Black Lives Matter movement were like, yeah, like they didn't get included in the political process afterwards. They're like, hang on a minute, we're supposed to get a seat at the table, but nobody's taking our calls now. We got you the vote. It's like, what were you expecting was going to happen?
Right. That's how it goes.
The integrity-driven politicians were going to get your support and then honor their promises. It's like,
yep,
it's politics.
I hear you.
It's politics. It's a duplicitous game designed to keep control in the hands of a few.
Yeah.
And the thing to understand about politics is not about what was the word you used? Integrity. Politics is not about integrity. Politics is not about what's right. It's not about goodness. It's not about the things that people like to associate with it. It's about power, and it's about using power to impose your will on somebody else.
Right.
And
it's like the antithesis of integrity.
But it's not, and it's not always negatively used. I'm not saying that all politicians are bad people or whatever.
Right.
But the system as a whole wasn't designed for the thing that people think it was designed
That's
for.
right.
It was designed to control people. If you look at, if we go historically, the people who had the power controlled people, whether they had swords, spears, guns, cannons, whatever. I've got the power. I'm going to control you. You're going to do what I say. You don't do what I say. Okay, I kill you. Simple. Okay, you're going to listen now. Okay, and then the people with power would control the resources. And you'll be happy if the people who have the power control the resources have benevolence not to make life too crap for everyone else who doesn't have everything. That's basically the long and short of it. You have peace and prosperity. Everyone gets the opportunity to live their life. They work their farm, they work their factory, blah, 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 do the thing. Boom. And then over time, more and more people started abusing that power. And so people started to rise up. And so they gave them these little systems and structures to believe that they actually had a bit more say in things. We had the Civil War in England, and Oliver Cromwell comes in, deposes Charles. We have the Houses of Parliament, where the common folk actually then balance out the House of Lords, but then it's the same people in both of the places. It's like, but we've got our vote and thing. So I think if we're gonna use the system, use it better. Actually, maybe stop following this nonsensical story of bipartisan and start voting for people who actually maybe represent the values that you want. And the thing I remember, there was a guy called Andrew Rosendale, who was a conservative parliamentary candidate for the area where I was a teenager. And it was a heavily Labour area because it was working class, right? Working class and middle class people. And I don't think there'd ever been a conservative person who had ever pulled it off. But he came door to door, literally. He came to everybody's door. He would come to us and say, hey, I want to represent you. Tell me what it is that you're looking for so that I can represent you properly. And he won because he actually, I genuinely believe that he did care about what he was doing. But he went around and met with people. And that's how it should be. But not most people aren't doing that,
Right.
No. Well, not to say most. I haven't seen much evidence of people doing that. Let me put it that way. I haven't seen much evidence of people doing that.
And there are quite a few who do that, but I would agree that it's not widespread. It's not the norm. I mentioned earlier about how I came to the conclusion that Sting was right, that politics doesn't have any answers, but that wasn't good enough. I need to ask myself, so where are the answers? And that's what enabled me to complete the journey away from that libertarian philosophy I used to have. When I realized that the answers are within. That's what we talk about here on the show.
Yeah.
And when we learn to make that connection within, that's where the true power comes from. The political power, it certainly exists. But isn't it interesting that political power always falls flat in the face of internal power?
Yeah, because it's an external. And I think where the political power derived from people surrendering their power into the political power. We still give the political power its power from our personal power. Instead of diverting it inwards, we divert it outwards.
Yeah. Whereas when we go within and trust within, which takes some doing, takes some practice, learning to trust within. But when we do that, funny thing happens. We find we have less interest and less need for that external political. But that matrix, really, it's what it is. It's a political matrix.
Right.
Yeah. So that's how I made the journey. And I can't say I've made it 100%. There's still that little piece of me that checks the news every once in a while. But for the most part, I've left it behind.
I do it for entertainment, though. I don't do it.
I wasn't going to say that.
I do.
But I do the same thing. It's
I think it's nice to be informed. It's nice to be informed, but I'm not informing myself as to what's happening. I'm informing myself as the stories going on about what's happening.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the same way.
It's a little bit embarrassing because finding entertainment in the traumas of the world just feels creepy. But there is some.
Yeah.
I mean,
otherwise there wouldn't be reality TV.
It would be. No. That's why I continue to be amazed at just how drawn we humans are to drama. Drama and trauma, both of them.
Mm,
We
that's a
just
word.
it's like it's more powerful than television. And television, of course, uses it all the time, right? But
Yes.
but drama and trauma are probably the most powerful external influences in existence because people just can't take their eyes off of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And I'm still coming to terms with that one. I haven't quite figured that out entirely. Mostly I have, but not entirely.
And maybe you never
It's
will.
sad but true.
What was that, Daniel?
And maybe we never will.
We may never. Yeah. That's
Mm.
quite possible. Well, what I do now, I know this for a fact, is this has been fun. We got the crew back for the day, and it's going to happen again next month because we're going to get you back.
Yeah, and I'm definitely going to be in a reasonable time zone.
That's good. Yes. No more 1 a.m. stuff. No, that doesn't work.
1 a.m.
Oh, it's 1 a.m. where you are? Good morning.
It's 2 a.m. now.
Good morning, sir.
Good night, because I'm about to hit that sack like
I don't
this.
blame you.
Body slam.
Well, we appreciate the fact that you stayed up with us, so thank you so much for that.
Yeah,
and we
pleasure to be
appreciate
here.
that Alyx is doing so much better. Boy, it's so
Yes.
Thank you.
yeah.
Alex is better.
High
Alex is
fives
better.
for
Alex is better.
healing.
Yes.
High five for healing.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
And I
love it.
felt all the good vibes and all the prayers. They helped me heal faster and with a lot less stress and anxiety. Felt them all. Thank you very much, everyone.
Wonderful.
That does help, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
It's almost like it rebalances you,
Yeah.
right?
It lets you know, like, where in the world you matter.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's nice to
And
know
it
that you matter.
gives you purpose to heal faster.
Yeah. Well, keep the healing going.
I'm on it.
All right. I love it. So thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Alyx. Thank you, podcast listeners everywhere. We'll see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.